This is the vendor list view, the new beta list view. So if you are in your system, you'll see over here, I've already clicked on it, a link that says turn on beta. And I can see now where I can turn off beta. So this is the new vendor list view beta. And so you can see that it's kind of changed some of this. I've got my different column headers. It's still the same view, same data, and I can still edit those, create new views, and do all of that same information. But what it's done is it's kind of added these little filters here on your column headers, and it's made the default filter a contains, whereas it was previously a begins with. So now, because that's a default contains, if I want to see anything that has properties in it, I can just start typing prop and apply that by hitting enter, and it's going to apply that filter. Whereas previously I had to use my wildcard, the %sign, so remember to use that as my contains. I can change my filter condition and say that's going to be equals or starts with or any of my conditions. So I can still edit that and change that, but the default is now going to be the contains since that's more commonly used. Okay. I can also set these to sort. And I can freeze my column. So I can freeze this column. So then if I had more columns here and I needed to scroll over, it's going to keep my vendor ID, vendor name here so that I'm not having to scroll back and forth. So you can freeze your columns. I can also drag and drop them to move them around instead of having to go in and edit that view and kind of move them around in that sort tab or in that view tab. So that drag and drop functionality allows me to move those around as well. And then I can sort. I can set up text wrapping if I want to wrap the text if it's longer. So in my address where I've got some text here, I can say to wrap that text. And now you can see it's going to show that without expanding out that column. So a lot more functionality in the list views than even we previously had. And again, you can still customize these. You can create your own views, have as many views out there as you want and deploy those and share those with other users. So all of that same functionality that we had, just taking it one step further by making it a little easier for me to customize this to my preferences without having to go in and edit that view and necessarily create a custom view. Okay. And again, we saw that full list of all of the places that this is available, but you'll see it under customers. You'll see it under some of your different dimensions. So any place you see on this turn on list beta interface, you can turn that on. And then that will show you that new interface and that option for those list views. Okay. So then while we're here in receivables, I do want to show you the new receiving payments with the multiple customers. So I'm just going to go in and add a new payment in. So I can see here one customer, parent, child, or multiple customer invoices. So if I choose that, you'll see my customer field is now blank. I still have the same functionality of choosing undeposited funds or my bank, payment method, my amount, all of that information, who the payer is. We'll just put test in and then I can show my invoices, but you can see now I see invoices by multiple customers. So I can choose which invoices are being paid, and then it's going to apply those payments even though those are different customers. So again, you do have that payment ability to apply those to multiple customers now, whereas previously you kind of had to manually work around that if you wanted to apply those. Okay. Oh, and I've got periods locked, and these are really old invoices, so it is giving me errors here. So, okay. Should have picked newer invoices to pay. All right. So then, speaking of that, just to go over here to my general ledger configuration and show you where you can set that. You can again go in and say to allow you to close those periods and set how far in the future those periods can be unlocked. So I can only unlock those up to 5 years from my closed periods date. Okay? So that allows you to make that change and control that. Okay. One other thing, I did not have a slide on here that I wanted to mention too. If you do need this, please reach out to us and talk to us before you make this change. But if at any point in time in the future, if you need to increase your GL account length, let's say we started your system out and we felt like a 4-digit GL account number, a 5-digit GL account number was going to be great, give you plenty of room to grow, but maybe something's happened, your business model's changed, you've acquired new businesses, for some reason we need to increase that. You can now increase your GL account length and add a GL accounts in, so you could have change your 4-digit GL account to a 6-digit GL account, and it's going to add zeros to it for the existing account. So we do ask you, if you do need to make that change, please reach out to us before you make that change in your system so that we can walk through and kind of make sure that you understand all the implications of that with your reports and your account groups and everything that's set up. But that is now an option for you as well to make those changes. A few of the changes that we made did require some permission changes. So if you have any questions on those, you can always have your admin go in and review the permissions and see what changes. We did make note on the slides of any of those that required security changes or configuration changes. And you also see that in the release notes as well. So if you go to the homepage and read the release notes, they make note of anything that's permission changes. But we do periodically recommend going out because they do roll out new feature functions each quarter. And some of those do require permission changes. So you may want to go look at your permissions for all of your roles and users that are set up and make sure that those are all updated and they have the proper access and that you are giving them access to the new feature functions if you guys are using those. So just making sure that your permissions are updated to include those. Thank you all for joining us. We very much appreciate you taking the time to spend a little bit of time with us to go over these updates. Hopefully you found something that will be useful for you that you'd like to learn more about or start implementing and using in your current system. And just watch for those updates coming out with each quarter.